Sup everyone, XQW Wallow WA2 ADC here, and today racing at Alsace in the Audi TT cars. And this race is one of the Nations Cup races. As we take a look at the grid, we can see that I'm starting from P1, pole position, very happy with that. Actually managed to get pole by 0.3 of a second, so very surprised by that. And let's hope we can keep it up during the race. So for this race you couldn't choose which car you would pick. Everybody just had to pick the Audi TT. We have Yono F1 starting in P12. And also racing here on a track that I really like, Alsace. And this race will be a standing start. As you can see, the lights go on. And away we go. An okay start I would say, but not the best, because we can see the Italian just closing in. And he goes through the inside. So can we hold it around the outside? And he just leaves us enough room, so we have a better exit, and back to P1 we go. Very fair play by the Italian, because he just left us enough space to go around the outside. Could have pushed us off, but luckily he didn't. So back to the lead we go. And it seems like we managed to hold on through this corner. You always have to be a bit cautious that people behind you don't go for a dive bomb, which was luckily not the case, as we just get 2 wheels into the grass. But looks like we managed to pull away a little bit from the Italian behind us. So let's hope we can maintain our first position. Hopefully we can pull away from the guy in P2 a little bit, so that we have a gap to play with. And as you already know, with these front wheel drive cars, you really have to save the front tires, so that's just what we're going to do a little bit. But we also have to push, because we don't want the cars behind to stay in our slipstream. And also in this race we have to make a stop, we have to go onto the hard tires as well. So the normal tires and the hard tires are mandatory, but right now we're onto the normal tires, so we don't know which strategy the cars behind us are on. I hope they're also onto the normal tires. But judging from their start, I think they are, because if you're onto the hard tires you have a slower start. Because the normal tires just give you a bit better traction. And looking behind, we are very happy with the gap that we managed to pull out towards the Italian. So it seems like we can maintain our pace from qualifying into the race. So once we have about 2 seconds of a gap, we can try and manage our tires as good as we can. So let's hope that we can keep building this gap towards the rest of the race. And as you can see behind us, the gap is only growing, so that's very good for our race. As we're just going to go a bit forward into the video, traveling through the black hole of time and space and onto lap 4. So still in the lead, luckily. As you can see already, the tires are starting to suffer a bit, not too much, still quite doable. And looking behind, we have a very big gap right now towards the Italian in P2. But looks like the Frenchman in P3, Xenara X, has also managed to close in towards the Italian. And also we could see on the screen that the first cars onto their hard tires were going for a pit stop, so it seems like they did 4 laps onto their hard tires. And looking behind, we could see that the Frenchman has managed to make a move onto the Italian. So right now we have a different driver that is starting to chase us. So you also have to be a little bit cautious when you have a different driver who's chasing you, because it could just be a little bit faster. But the gap is still quite big, so I didn't worry too much at this point of the race. So let's go a little bit forward into the video once again. And right now we're halfway around lap 7. So at this point in the race, you're just starting to think about the pit stops. As we can see behind us, we can see Xenara closing in a little bit on us. So that's also a slight worry, because we don't like to see people closing in. Still a healthy gap, but we feel a bit that our tires are starting to suffer. And I know from experience with driving with these cars that there are some drivers who are a bit better than me with saving these front tires on these cars. So definitely this race is not over yet, because I think the guy behind us has done a better job in saving his tires, because you could just see him closing in after 4 laps. He went for a move onto the Italian, and right now he's closing in on us. So that just might be a sign that he's better in saving his tires. But luckily for us, the pit stops aren't too far away, because we have seen earlier in the race that some cars decide to pit from their hard tires on lap 4. So that probably means that lap 4 is a good point of the race, or lap 8 for us is a good point of the race to change our tires to the hard tires, because right now we're onto the normals. But we can just start to feel the tire wear, and that's why I'm going to decide to pit at the end of this lap. And we see Xenara has closed in a little bit once more. So that's just starting to worry us, because also we don't know what Xenara is going to do. We're going to pit this lap, but we don't know if he can manage to drag some more laps around onto these normal tires. So let's go into the pits right now, onto the right hand side. No fuel needed, because I think we just have enough. 34 liters of fuel and 8 laps, so we did 66% of the race. So we should just make it onto 34 liters of fuel as well, because we start out with 100. And looking behind, we can see we managed to stay in the lead, luckily. And also we can see that Gr.4 has closed in on us. I think he's already done his pit stop. And we can see the 2 cars behind us battling for P2 as Jono makes this move onto Xenara. And that's very good for our race, because then the two cars behind us just hold each other up a little bit. That might help us to gain some extra time onto the two cars behind us. So just what we needed to just gain a half a second or maybe a second towards the two cars behind us, so that we have a bigger gap to play with. And only 4 more laps to go, but also right now we have the same tire wear, so let's hope that Sonera doesn't close in too much. As we go a little bit forward once again. And at the start of lap 11, let's take a look what the gap is right now. And looks like it's quite a healthy gap still. So only 2 more laps to try and hold on to our lead position. We also have to be very cautious because the last corner onto this lap is also an overtaking opportunity. And we know if the car behind us is like half a second closed into a half second, he may go for a dive bomb. You just never know. But still an okay gap, so let's try and do our best to not make any mistakes. I was very nervous at this point in the race because you could just feel the pressure from the car behind, and especially if he closes in on you, you're just very worried about it. And also it doesn't happen too often that you have the opportunity to win an FIA race, because these races are always a very high level of competition. So that's why if you have the opportunity to win, you really want to make sure that you can win the race. Yeah, didn't really expect it at all to have the opportunity to win this race, because normally onto the Audi TT cars I'm not that fast with these cars. I have cars where I'm better with than front wheel drive cars normally. But Alsace is one of my better tracks on Gran Turismo, so I think that helped for me to get the pole position in this race. It looks like the Frenchman is only gaining on us, so still not over yet. Also have to worry a bit about our fuel because it's a flickering red light right now. We should have enough, but yeah, just a little bit more short shifting to just make sure that we manage to make it to the end of the race. You don't want to run out of fuel until the last lap of the race. So only a couple more corners to go. So let's not try to do anything silly. But looking behind, he's very close right now. As we're approaching the final corner, and it looks like he's too far back to try and go for a move. But he definitely got very close to the end of the race. So I was really nervous in this race, and I'm really happy that we managed to keep our lead position and managed to finish the race in first position. So very happy with the win in the Nations Cup race. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.